Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the English in Ease. I'm Emily, your host, and I'm so excited to have you here today. If you're ready to take your English to the next level, then today's episode is perfect for you. We're diving into a topic that many of you have asked about: how to speak fast, speak clear, and speak real in English. I know this is something that many English learners really want to master. You might hear people say, "I want to sound like a native speaker," but you also know how challenging that can be. Some of you might speak too slowly, others might rush and lose clarity, and some are stuck trying to perfect their grammar or pronunciation and, as a result, end up sounding stiff and unnatural. But don't worry, in today's episode, we're going to break it all down. We'll talk about when and how to speak fast, how to maintain clarity, and how to sound real and natural in everyday English. Plus, I'll be sharing some simple practice exercises and tips along the way. So, if you want to speak English more confidently and naturally, this episode is for you. Let's get started. All right, first things first, let's talk about the real struggle many learners face. Why is it so hard to understand or speak fast? Real English, well, one big reason is that school English is usually too slow. When you learn English in school, it's often spoken at a slower, clearer pace. But in real life, people speak much faster. Native speakers use slang, they blend words together, and overall, it sounds very different. For example, in school, you might have learned, "How are you?" but in real life, someone might say, "How you doin'?" or even, "How's it goin'?" And if you're not used to that, it can sound like a whole different language. It's confusing, right? Another reason is that many learners focus on grammar or vocabulary, but they don't practice listening or speaking at native speed. This means they often end up speaking slowly and carefully, which is fine for beginners. But if you want to take it to the next level, you need to start practicing faster, more natural conversations. Then there's the fear of making mistakes. Many learners freeze up, slow down, and overthink every word. But here's the thing, that's not how natural English works. Even native speakers pause, use filler words, or make small grammar mistakes, but they keep the conversation flowing. The key is to focus on communication, not perfection. And finally, many learners don't know how to train their ears and mouths for fast English. To really speak fast and clear, you need to listen to native speakers, copy their rhythm, and practice speaking with the right speed and clarity. But the good news is that you're not alone in this. Struggling to understand or speak fast English is totally normal, and with the right practice, you can improve. I'm here to help you through the process. Now, let's dive into the first part of today's topic. Should you try to speak fast in English? Well, this is a tricky question. My answer is yes, but also no. It might sound confusing, but let me explain. Speaking fast can be good because it helps you sound more fluent. But speaking too fast without control can make you sound messy, and people won't understand you. Some learners try to speak at native speed too soon, and what happens? They speak too fast. They drop pronunciation, and grammar goes out the window. The result? It's hard to understand them. So, speaking fast isn't the goal. The goal is to speak naturally and clearly. Let's look at an example. First, try saying this slowly. "I'm going to go to the store." Now, let's try it faster. "I'm gonna go to the store." See the difference? Native speakers often say gonna instead of going to, and it sounds faster but still clear. That's the key. Speaking fast is about learning the rhythm, connecting words, and using the right expressions. It's completely okay to start slow, especially if you're still building confidence or if you're a beginner. Focus on being clear first, and once you feel comfortable, you can gradually increase your speed. Think of it like learning a song. First, you learn the song slowly, and then you sing it faster, with more feeling and confidence. So here's a simple rule for all learners. Speak clearly first, and then build speed with practice. And remember, fast doesn't mean fluent. Fluent means speaking naturally, smoothly, and in a way that's easy to understand. Yes, you should aim to speak fast eventually, but only when you're ready, with the right practice and confidence. I'm here to help you with that. Now, let's talk about something just as important as speed clarity. What does it mean to speak clearly in English? Well, speaking clearly means that people can understand you easily. You don't have to speak slowly, but your words need to be pronounced well and with the right rhythm. Clarity is key. But here's the important thing. Clear speech doesn't mean robotic speech. Many learners try to pronounce every word perfectly, but that can sound unnatural. For example, saying "I am going to the store" like a robot is way too stiff. Clear speech still uses natural tone and rhythm, and you should speak in a way that feels human. For example, instead of saying "I am going to the store" in a stiff, robotic way, try saying it like this: "I'm going to the store." It's still clear, but it sounds smoother and more natural. So, how can you speak more clearly? First, practice the sounds of English. Some sounds, like in think or this, don't exist in other languages, and if you don't practice them, they can be hard to say and understand. Another tip is to focus on stress and intonation. In English, we don't stress every word, we stress the important ones. For example, in the sentence "I'm going to the store," we stress store because that's the key word. We also need to be mindful of word endings. Many learners drop the final sounds, like s or ed, but doing so can change the meaning of your sentence. For example, I walk and I walked are very different. To sound clear, make sure you pronounce those endings, even when you speak fast. Another good idea is to record yourself speaking. Try speaking a few sentences and then listen to see if you sound clear. Would a native speaker understand you? Don't be afraid to ask for feedback if someone says, "Sorry, what did you say?" That could mean you need to slow down or speak a little more clearly. Finally, practice speaking in chunks, not word by word. Instead of saying "want to grab some coffee" slowly and one word at a time, say it like this: "Want to grab some coffee." It sounds much smoother and still clear. To sum it up, clear speech means using good sounds, natural rhythm, and speaking with feeling, not like a robot. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be understood. Speak clearly, and you'll unlock the real power of English. All right. So now that we've talked about speaking fast and clear, let's dive into something that many learners wonder about: speaking real English. What does it mean to speak real English? Great question. Speaking real English means speaking the way real people do in everyday conversations, not textbook English. It includes things like idioms, slang, contractions, and the natural rhythms that native speakers use. For example, instead of saying "I am going to do it," real people often say "I'm gonna do it." Or instead of saying "I do not know," they'll say "I don't know." Or even just "dunno." That's real English. Real English is also about linking words together. Native speakers don't pause between every word. They connect sounds, like when "what do you want" becomes "what you want." Native speakers link words like this all the time, and it's a big part of how real English sounds. And it's not just about the words you use, it's also about the emotion and rhythm of your speech. Native speakers use their voices to show feelings like excitement, surprise, doubt, or happiness. For example, if someone asks, "Are you coming?" and you want to say yes excitedly, you might say, Yeah, for sure, with energy and a smile. So, speaking real English is all about sounding natural and comfortable. It's okay if you don't always say everything perfectly or formally. The key is to use natural expressions, connect your words smoothly, and communicate with others in a way that feels authentic. I'm here to help you practice and get comfortable with real English. It's all about being yourself, using the words that fit the situation, and connecting with people in a natural, fluid way. That's the first part of our discussion on speaking fast, clear, and real English. Ready for part two? Let me know, and we'll dive deeper into more tips and practice. All right, let's dive right into part two. So far, we've talked about the importance of speaking fast, speaking clearly, and speaking real English. Now, let's take a closer look at some common mistakes learners make when trying to balance all three. First of all, mistakes are part of learning. And when it comes to speaking fast, clear, and real English, it's totally normal to stumble along the way. But knowing where learners typically go wrong can help you avoid these pitfalls and improve faster. So, the first mistake I see a lot is speaking too slowly because of fear. Some learners think that speaking slowly is the best way to be understood. And while speaking slowly can help at the beginning, it can also make your conversation sound unnatural. If you speak too slowly, it can make the conversation feel awkward and less engaging. The fix: try to find a comfortable middle ground. You don't need to speak at lightning speed, but try to find a pace that feels natural. Not too fast, not too slow. Think of it like walking. You don't want to drag your feet, but you also don't want to sprint. So, practice finding that balance between speaking too fast and speaking too slow. The second mistake that happens often is losing clarity when speaking fast. This one is a big one. Many learners rush through their words, mumble, or skip important sounds when they try to speak quickly. For example, dropping the final sounds, like S or ed, can confuse the listener. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, "He walks to the park," some learners might say, "He walked to the park." The listener might not understand because the word walk without the S sounds wrong. The fix for this: practice pronunciation, and make sure you say those endings clearly, even when speaking faster. Another mistake I see is overthinking grammar while speaking. Many learners get stuck in their heads, focusing on perfect grammar while speaking, and it slows them down. The problem is that speaking naturally is all about communication and conveying your message, not about getting every single grammatical detail right. The fix is to focus more on the message and less on perfection. When you're having a conversation, think about communicating your ideas and making sure the person you're talking to understands you. It's okay to make small mistakes with grammar. What's important is getting your point across. Don't let grammar hold you back from speaking confidently. The fourth mistake is not practicing enough with real English. Many learners study from books, which is great for learning grammar and vocabulary, but they miss out on real conversations. They don't practice listening to native speakers or engaging in natural, fast-paced conversations. The fix here is simple. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos, and speak with native speakers or friends. Practice, practice, practice. Real conversations help you learn real English, and that's what will help you sound natural. Finally, a big mistake is fearing mistakes. A lot of learners hesitate to speak fast or speak real English because they're afraid of making mistakes. They worry about sounding wrong, and this fear keeps them from practicing and improving. The fix: change your mindset. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. When you make a mistake, don't stress about it. Instead, smile, learn from it, and keep going. The more you practice and embrace your mistakes, the better you'll get. Remember, Every mistake is just a step forward in your journey to fluency. So, to recap these common mistakes, speak at a natural speed. Find the right balance between fast and slow. Don't sacrifice clarity for speed. Practice your pronunciation. Don't overthink grammar while speaking. And focus on communication instead. Practice with real English as much as you can. And finally, embrace your mistakes and keep learning. Now that we've addressed the mistakes, let's get into the fun part. Practice. I know, practice is the key to improvement, and this is where you'll really start to feel the difference between speaking fast and speaking clearly. Here's what we're going to do. I'll say a sentence slowly and clearly first, and then I'll say it faster, but still trying to keep it clear. Then, you'll repeat after me, and I want you to say it aloud too. If you're listening along, join in and say it out loud as well. Ready? Let's get started. The first sentence is, I'm going to the park now. Now, let's speed it up a bit. I'm gonna go to the park. Great now. Your turn. Say it aloud with me. I'm gonna go to the park. Let's try another one. Slow and clear. Can you help me with this? And now, faster but still clear. Can you help me with this? Your turn. Repeat after me. Can you help me with this? All right. One more. Slow and clear. What do you want to eat? Now, faster and natural. What you want to eat. Great job. Keep practicing these sentences at home. Try them both slowly and faster. Find that perfect balance between speed and clarity. Remember, don't rush too much that people can't understand you, but also don't speak so slowly that it loses the natural flow. Now, let's talk about some techniques that will help you train yourself to speak fast, clear, and real. The first technique is shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say at the same time. It helps you work on your rhythm, speed, and pronunciation all at once. You can shadow native speakers in podcasts, movies, or YouTube videos. Just pick a short clip and try to match the speed and tone of the speaker. The second technique is recording yourself. When you speak on a topic or even read a sentence, record yourself, then listen to it. Notice where you can improve your clarity or speed. It's like being your own coach. You can compare your speech to native speakers and see where you need to adjust. The third technique is linking words and contractions. Instead of saying every word slowly, practice connecting words naturally. For example, say gonna instead of going to, and try linking sounds together. This will make your speech sound more fluid and real. Fourth, use tongue twisters. Yes, I know, they sound funny, but they are an amazing tool to train your mouth muscles to move faster and more clearly. For example, try saying, she sells seashells by the seashore. It's fun, and it helps you practice your pronunciation. Finally, practice speaking in chunks, groups of words instead of individual words. Native speakers don't say each word separately. They group words together to make their speech smoother. For example, instead of saying, do you want to eat? Say, wanna eat. It's faster, smoother, and still clear. Remember, consistency is key practice every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. The more you practice, the more confident and natural you'll sound. But here's one last thing that I want to talk about before we finish today's mindset. Many learners get stuck because they're afraid of making mistakes. But I want to remind you that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. When you're learning to speak fast, clear, and real English, you're going to make mistakes. And that's okay. The important thing is not to strive for perfection, but to be yourself. Your unique way of speaking is your strength. Real English isn't about sounding exactly like a native speaker. It's about being confident and communicating your ideas clearly. So, don't worry about making mistakes. Just smile, learn from them, and keep going. That positive mindset will help you sound more natural and enjoy the learning process. Remember, your English is your voice. Let it shine, no matter what. All right, we've covered a lot today. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways for today's episode. First, practice regularly. Speak clearly first, then add speed and natural style bit by bit. Second, don't stress about being perfect. Mistakes are part of learning, so embrace them and keep improving. Lastly, enjoy the process. Speaking English is about connecting with people and sharing your ideas confidently. Keep practicing, and remember to have fun with it. Thank you for joining me today. I believe in you, and I know you'll continue to improve. Keep listening to Real English, practice out loud, and keep being you. I'll see you in the next episode. Ki hat fansai aye khasa tsini. Welcome back, everyone. We've already covered some powerful tips on how to speak fast, clear, and real in English. But today, I want to wrap up with a few more strategies to help you put everything together and keep your English practice going strong. Now that we've talked about the basic speed, clarity, and authenticity, let's dive deeper into how you can integrate these principles into your daily practice. I know, sometimes, it can feel overwhelming, but trust me, the more you practice, the more natural it will become. So, let's focus on making this process easier and more enjoyable for you. One of the biggest mistakes I see in learners is not practicing consistently. I get it. Life can get busy, and sometimes it's hard to make time for language practice. But consistency is key when it comes to improving your English. Even if you only have 5 to 10 minutes each day, it's better than nothing. Small, regular practice will add up over time, and you'll notice real progress. Here's a tip: set a timer for just 5 minutes every day, and use that time to practice speaking. You can record yourself reading a short passage, repeating sentences from a podcast, or shadowing a video. Even a few minutes a day will make a huge difference in the long run. And the best part? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep speaking, keep trying, and stay consistent. That's how fluency happens. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite techniques: role-playing. This is a fun way to practice real English, and it's especially great if you're someone who likes a little variety in your practice. Role-playing lets you step into different situations and practice English as it's used in the real world. For example, you could imagine yourself in a coffee shop ordering a drink. You might say, "Hey, I'll have a cappuccino, please." But then, try saying it with a little more energy and natural rhythm. Like this: "Hey, can I grab a cappuccino, please?" Notice how the tone changes when you sound more natural. That's the beauty of real English. Role-playing is also a great way to practice using slang, contractions, and natural expressions. You can even practice with a friend or language partner, or if you're practicing alone, just use your imagination. Picture yourself in different settings: at the grocery store, at a job interview, at a party, and use the vocabulary and expressions that would fit in those situations. Next, let's talk about listening practice. One of the best ways to improve your speed, clarity, and naturalness is by listening to native speakers. So, make sure you're listening to English every day. You can listen to podcasts, watch movies, or even listen to songs. When you listen to real English, pay close attention to how native speakers connect their words. Use contractions and vary their speed and tone depending on the situation. One great way to practice listening is by shadowing. This is a technique I've mentioned before, but it's so effective that it's worth mentioning again. With shadowing, you listen to a short clip of a native speaker, Then immediately repeat what they say, trying to match their rhythm, intonation, and speed. Do this as often as you can, and you'll start to notice improvements in your own speech. It's like having a personal language coach. And here's something I want you to keep in mind. Don't stress about the details too much. So many learners get caught up in trying to say every word perfectly. Remember, real English is not about perfection. It's about communication. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Focus on the message you want to share, and just keep going. Mistakes are part of the learning process, and they'll only help you get better in the long run. One mindset shift I encourage all of my listeners to adopt is this: don't aim for perfection, aim for connection. Real English is about connecting with others and expressing yourself. It's about the rhythm, the flow, and the energy behind your words. If you're trying to be perfect, you might sound stiff and unnatural, but if you focus on connecting with your listener, your speech will sound more natural and real. To help with that, you can try speaking in different situations to get comfortable with real English. This could mean practicing speaking in front of a mirror, having conversations with a language partner, or even speaking in public. The more you practice speaking in different environments, the more confident and comfortable you'll become. And as we wrap up this episode, I want to share a few more tips for continuing your journey towards speaking fast, clear, and real English. Tip 1. Find real English content you love. It's so much easier to practice when you're enjoying the content. So, find podcasts, YouTube channels, TV shows, or movies that you love and listen to them regularly. Try to expose yourself to a variety of accents, topics, and styles of speech. The more diverse your listening materials, the more natural and adaptable your own speech will become. Tip 2. Create an immersive environment. If you really want to take your English to the next level, surround yourself with it as much as possible. Change the language settings on your phone or computer to English. Try listening to English music or watching shows without subtitles. Even if you don't understand every word, your brain will start to adapt to the rhythm and flow of English. Tip 3. Use a language partner or tutor. If possible, find someone to practice with regularly. Having a language partner or tutor can be incredibly helpful for practicing speaking and receiving feedback. If you can't find someone in person, there are many online platforms where you can connect with native speakers. Practicing with a partner helps you stay motivated, and it's a great way to work on fluency in real conversations. Tip 4. Be patient with your self-language. Learning takes time, and you're going to face challenges along the way. But remember, every step forward is progress. It might take a while to get comfortable speaking fast and clear, but with consistent practice, you'll start to notice that your English feels more natural and effortless. All right, as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with one last thought. Keep practicing, keep challenging yourself, and keep having fun with English. The more you enjoy the process, the more confident you'll become. Real English is all about being yourself, expressing your ideas clearly, and connecting with others. So, no matter where you are on your learning journey, remember to keep speaking, keep improving, and most importantly, keep being you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I believe in you, and I'm so proud of the progress you're making. Keep practicing, stay positive, and remember, you've got this. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.